Hi, Miss Bisak. This is Raul, Michael, and Michael, and Raul. And we are doing our presentation. Let's start off with the eye. I mean the ear.
All right. This joint right here is the pinna. This guy like funnels in sound to this guy right here. It's the auditory canal. This is like the opening, like mouth end of the funnel that you pour the substance into, and then this is like the part where it like slims down. You feel me?
Next, Miss Bisak, we have the eardrum right here. And the eardrum is a thin membrane that when sound enters through the pinna, through the auditory canal, the sound waves vibrate, cause the eardrum to vibrate, which in turn transfers vibrations to the hammer. The hammer then vibrates, which in turn transfers the vibrations to the anvil. The anvil, and the hammer is otherwise known as the mollius, which is a small bone. And then it transfers to the anvil, otherwise known as the incus, which is another tiny bone, and that transfers vibrations to the stirrup, which is this U-shaped bone, otherwise known as the stapes. The stapes then sends vibrations to the cochlea. The cochlea is inside of the inner ear. It is a snail shape, as you can see right here. Inside of the cochlea is the basilar membrane, which is a stiff structure that separates two liquid-filled tubes coiled around the cochlea, the scala media and the scala tympani. The basilar membrane distinguishes pitch, and as it is lined with cilia, which I will go over later. Next, we have, basically, the point of the cochlea is to convert the vibrations into the neural messages which go to your brain. Next on, we have the semicircular canals. These semicircular canals are filled with liquid and cilia. When your head tilts to one direction, the liquid moves. Think of it as a water bottle. You tilt the water bottle, but the water stays in the middle. The liquid inside of the semicircular canals tickles the cilia, and those cilia send electrical messages to your brain, which tell you to balance. So the point of the semicircular canals is balance. By the way, the liquid inside of the semicircular canals is called endolmif. Yes. Next, we have hair cells. Hair cells line the basilar membrane, as we said before, on the organ of Corti, which is the spiral organ in the cochlea. Outer hair cells, which are in the outer ear, amplify low-level sounds so that the sounds are more prominent in the inner ear.
Can I have a can of this?
Okay. The point of the inner ear hair cells is to transport electrical messages to the auditory nerve right here. The auditory nerve sends audio signals to the brain, right here. It goes through the thalamus, which we have under here, which then in turn travels to the temporal lobe. I guess I probably should have mentioned, you can think of the hair cells inside of the cochlea as like a seismograph. The seismograph reads vibrations from an earthquake, like that, and then it makes the lines, which is the signal. Anyway, the thalamus is located in the middle brain between the cerebral cortex and the midbrain, and it is responsible for sensory perception, consciousness, sleep, and as I said, the audio passes through it. The audio cortex, which is in the temporal lobe, processes audio and is a higher function. The temporal lobe right here is the audio processing part of the brain involved with higher functions. And lastly, we have the Eustachiani tube. The Eustachiani tube connects the ear, right here, to the nose, right here. So when you experience differences in air pressure, when you pop your ears, that's kind of like the nose and the Eustachian tube regulating the air pressure in your ear so that it's the correct pressure. Now let's move on to the eye.
This is the eye.
Hello, and welcome to the eye. Today we will be looking at a diagram of the eye. So we'll start out with an example. So say you were to look at like a new shiny red car, how would that work? So when the light reflects off the car, it first makes contact with your cornea, which is right here. It's basically an outer protection for your eye. The light then goes to the pupil, which is this black hole right here, and the pupil dictates how much light goes in. And around the pupil is the iris, which is that blue part. So the iris can contract, it's like a muscle, and it can change the size of the pupil to make sure the right amount of light goes in. Next.